Welcome to When Will It End, a movie podcast. We're two guys. I'm Josh. It's Charles over there. Hi, Charles.
Hey.
And we watch a whole series of movies. We ask ourselves, did it get better or did it get worse? And we're, as you know, doing the Die Hard of the Seas, the Jaws series.
Yeah. It's not all about better and worse.
Okay, did it expand the universe? Did it improve the universe? Did it complicate things? Did it ask more questions?
I think it's really, I don't think we should be putting these questions on there. Let's explain it a little differently.
Okay, we want to just go ahead and revise the entire premise?
Well, no, we have a premise. I just think you're not accurate. Like, if this is the first time people are listening to the show, they're going to be like, they're just about, like, quality.
Well, viewers of Jaws 2 will know that Charles is being so not Andy right now, but go ahead.
We're just anthropologists. We're not judging. We're just exploring.
Right, to paraphrase Peep Show, we're just Louis Theroux with a wry grin at the orgy.
There it is. Yeah, yes, at the end of the day, we give it a star rating.
Yeah, a really strict rating system that we've every episode, as you know, famously, it ends with a strict rating system that we've established. I'm not even going to waste your time to explain exactly how it goes into our math there.
And we do it out of 4 stars.
Yeah.
Like real film critics.
Like real film critics. I think 5, isn't that the traditional rating?
Josh.
Oh, no? What's Ebert do? What's Robbie Ebert do?
Fuck you, man.
What? Fuck you.
You're making us look like amateurs.
Holy shit. I'm trying to Andy right now.
Christ.
You're being not Andy at all.
You're
being Mark.
Yes.
You're being a real Mark about
moment.
This.
All right. So.
Do you do everything you're told? No.
Wait, his name's Mike.
Mike, sorry. Yeah.
Just for Netflix created the 5-star system.
That's not true.
It is. It was 4 stars up until Netflix and Amazon, all these things out of it because they couldn't figure out how to click 0.
Oh my God.
So the internet made it 1 to 5 rather than 0 to 4.
Who gives a shit? This is so pedantic and stupid.
Shut up.
Fuck you.
Fine.
Today we're talking about Jaws 2, the Die Hard 2 of the seas. Okay, so if you heard our last episode, we were largely complaining about a weird, disjointed movie with horrible pacing issues, a truly despisable main character, and basically just sort of an exhausting view. We are a little hyped up after Jaws 2 because we were like, you know what this franchise needs? Wet teens.
Wet teens.
Soaking wet teens.
Yeah, the director with a completely unpronounceable name.
Right.
I think it's Janosch Blark or something.
He sounds like a European pornographer, and this movie certainly gives you the heavy overtones of this guy is a real weirdo.
Yeah. But ultimately paid off.
Right, to the great success of Jaws 2. It's kind of wild. I would say this is a funny movie because it's not like it's that well directed, but it has a propulsive quality that moves it at this pace where you're like, oh, this is like, as Charles was putting it after the watch, a real movie.
Yeah.
Like, Jaws feels weird. There's like different capsules inside Jaws and things that work and don't work to different degrees. This is consistent, moves at a quick pace, and builds up to a finish that actually was like really rewarding, not sort of like the end of an indeterminable period of time in a boat.
Yes. So we've left behind Spielberg, and you know me. You've listened to The Real Deal. You've listened to this show. I don't like him. I just don't like him, and I think he's a bad filmmaker. And this is proof showing this hack director that made the Santa Claus the movie. Made really nothing at all of worth. Made a better movie than Jaws.
Yeah,
and I'm going to say it.
Crazy.
Jaws 2 better than Jaws, and we're going to spend the next hour
explaining why. Yeah,
why this is a better movie.
You're not going to find any iconic cinema moments on par with the moments of Jaws that again do rise above, I think, the chaff of that movie, and to like, the famous shot of him looking out from the beach is like the pull away zoom. That's like an amazing moment. I'm not taking that away from Spielberg. Jaws, its impact.
It's true.
I think everyone gets the impact of Jaws. But Jaws 2 is a movie.
Yeah.
It's not like an experiment. It's not like a first-time revelation. It's a movie where they set stakes and it just flies from there. And it's great.
It was good. So where to start? What do we got here? Because we got Roy's back.
Roy's back.
So what do we have with Roy?
Well, we were wondering, like, at the end of Jaws, we were talking about, like, okay, is this really going to dig deeper into Roy? We're going to learn more about this guy and his fucked up life and his just brokenness. And this movie, unflinchingly, continues to be about how, like, fucked up this dude is.
We thought it was going to pull back because the first, like, half hour, no drinks.
No drinks. It was crazy.
No
like, who
pills.
is this guy?
Yeah, we're like, whoa. And then I don't know about you, but I was a little worried.
He does wolf whistle at a teen, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
In front of his wife, who's like, Roy.
Yeah. but it was Miss Amity, so
Right. Yeah, true. Yeah, there's a
fine.
lot of smoking hot teens in this.
yeah, this is, to be fair, this movie is borders on child.
Oh, it's extremely leery.
Yeah, but I think that's sort of like I think we've talked about this before in The Real Deal. Like that's sort of, it's very hard to make a movie about like teens having teen feelings where adults watch those movies and then think about when they were teens being horny teens. It's like, it's a very hard line to make a movie about growing up that doesn't feel like creepy.
Right. I mean, I hear what you're saying. There's like, that sort of toxic nostalgia that you can like impose onto strangers in a movie. It's fucked up. It's hard. Like, I get why, filmmakers stumble into that constantly and make it like, this is not a Jaws 2 problem. There are so many movies where teen sexuality is handled so clumsily and uncomfortably. But to this movie's credit, none of the teens are interesting looking in any way. They're the most milquetoast, boring assholes, except for Andy. Andy, the shining star of this movie.
We fell in love with Andy the moment he appeared on screen, and he never, I thought he was another character because I was like, how can you make one character be this good? Like in the first scene, he's drinking punch, throwing one-liners, and then there's a new character. I was like, all right, that can't be Andy because he's also very cool.
Right. In
but
this movie,
this is the coolest character.
Andy crushes pizza at a bar.
That looks like melted glue.
It looks like melted glue, like in a weird like terracotta pot crust.
Yeah,
it looks insane.
He's just fucking eating it because he's Andy.
Later on the boat, when everyone's like afraid of dying and wet, and the shark is circling him, and he's like, "I'm hungry."
I'm hungry.
And I'm like, Andy, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
When Sean, the younger Roy child, is stranded at sea on the little boat, yeah, and they're trying to rescue him, Andy just fucking screams at this distraught child, and it's great.
Yeah. So
and then he kisses him a lot.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Andy is a wild,
beautiful
man.
moments. Andy is lose a Dreyfus, gain an Andy.
Oh, well, again, when you're looking for a curly-haired so-and-so to dump all the comic relief on, Andy, you won our way into our hearts.
Right. Because what I mean, I was sort of joking, but I'm going to carry this. When you have a Dreyfus who's a sweaty performer and like going out of his way to be the comic relief or be like the thing that you're watching, it's unbearable. You pull in an Andy, whoever that beautiful gem of an actor is, I believe Andy. I believe in Andy. I believe what he's doing is what Andy would do. I don't even, there's no actor there. That is Andy. He's beautiful.
Andy doesn't make choices. Andy just does Andy.
He is.
It's beautiful.
It's like,
he's not horny. Everyone else in the movie is pretty horny. Andy is, well, I guess he's a little horny. There's one amazing moment that we were obsessed with where all of the nameless teens are congregating around the docks, and someone's like, "Hey, teen number X, you got to go on the date with my cousin?" And he's like, "Who?" And she's like, "Oh, there she is." And everyone starts creaming their jeans and flipping out over a woman who looks like a girl who looks like a person.
Yeah.
She is no more distinct from any of the other weird 70s teens in this movie. And everyone's like, whoa, except for one guy who's not impressed, who says famously, she has tits like a sparrow.
Incredible stuff.
It was a different time.
But I think this actually makes the point about like island people versus non-island people better. Like in Jaws, they're constantly just being like, I'm a New Yorker. You got to talk like, you still talk like a New Yorker. And it's like going on and on about being a like that, him feeling out of place. Mm-hmm. This was just like a new person shows up and everyone's like, whoa, someone else, someone that I don't see every day for my entire fucking life. Right. And I think that actually makes sense. She's just a girl, but because she's a not-island person, she gets this extra status, like this new, like, wow, everyone wants to talk to this new girl.
Yeah, and then blows it by fucking complaining about the shark so much. Oh no, Jaws is here. Jaws 2 is back.
But I think like that right there is like much better world building than the script of Jaws, where like you just see people like being like, whoa, a new person.
When you're talking about world building, in this movie, they do something that I love, which is the establishment of space or spatial relations in a movie so that when things happen, we have some sense of their importance.
Yeah.
And in this, we see the lighthouse, we see the cable island, we know where the bar is, we know, like, we get a real sense of what's going on and where people are going. And I think the problem with Jaws that we actually, you touched on this off mic, towards the end of Jaws, they're just sort of like near the island kind of at the end.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real sense of where they are, and when we realize kind of how close they are, and they can swim back at the end,
yeah.
like, it's kind of like, oh, well, this is like, kind of weird. They're just like a few yards off. It doesn't feel like the stakes are that high. In this, we're genuinely like, oh, they're fucking out there. Right. And like in an abandoned part of this island, the stakes are there. And also, they do so much in this movie with the shark that maybe they just couldn't with Jaws. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
3 years later, man. It's not like they invented new shark technology in 3 years.
Okay, well, we were complaining that we didn't get the poster for Jaws 2 fucking rules. It's a bikini teen water skiing with a massive shark rising out of the water behind her.
Yeah.
We don't get that in this movie. It's a little bit of a letdown. But we do get plenty of other moments of the shark rearing up and just grabbing people that was a lot more visceral and exciting than anything in Jaws, other than maybe Quinn's death, which is still fucking crazy.
Do you think they got sued for false marketing?
Probably. Like the famous the United States versus Jaws 2.
United States versus, you think Jaws 2
The
won,
nation
though?
sued Jaws 2.
Because they just unleashed a shark.
The judge said, I don't want to be a non-Andy about this. I'm not going to harsh everyone's mellow.
Yeah.
What would Andy do?
What would Andy do? Wait, what did we have last episode? What would
Richard Dreyfuss do than do the opposite of that? I think was the premise.
Yeah, I think that
now we're full WWAD.
Dude,
what would Andy do?
I love that they had that phone call. The chief of police's secretary was like, "Oh, I called Dreyfuss and he's in fucking Antarctica for the summer. Sorry." And we just applauded. Like,
yeah.
Fuck, yeah.
We were like, thank God he's got out of the picture. I do like that they had to do the due diligence. Be like, we can't get Hooper on this.
Sorry, he's Hooper's prepping for
He's
Mr.
busy.
Holland's Opus.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got to wait
Yeah.
20 years to figure this out.
Right. Okay, so a big thing about talking about the sequel, we were like, well, me specifically, I was like, we're just going to, face a succession of sharks now?
Mm-hmm.
This movie solves that problem so brilliantly. There's this great moment where after the water skiing lady is dragged into the water and disappears, the person driving the boat is like, oh, I better look for my friend. And of course, the shark pops up, and it's just this thing that is so funny, which there is no explanation for, where she grabs a tank of gasoline and just sort of goes, oh no, and douses herself in gasoline and the boat. It's great. It's like, in the moment, I rewatch it, you'll be like, why did that happen? It doesn't matter.
I think, I'm going to just try to explain for Janos Blark.
Okay.
I believe she was looking for something heavy to throw at the shark.
And just doused everything
And
in
instead
gasoline.
doused everything in gas.
Whatever,
And then, continue.
pulls out the flare gun.
Yep.
Again, I guess to shoot the shark.
To shoot the shark, right. So I'm going to jump in and say, yes, it might look as though she's intentionally setting herself and the boat on fire, but I believe she's trying to shoot the shark.
Doesn't matter. I don't give a shit why or why not. The shark gets set on fire and for the rest of the movie has horrific burns.
That is genius.
So it's not just a mega shark who's just like hell-bent on eating teens, which is sick, and the Amish guy flying the Harbor Boat Patrol helicopter, which was an amazing scene as well.
Right. They go into a long backstory of why he's allowed to fly a helicopter.
Exactly.
Even though he's Amish.
Yeah, he left the farm to Rumspringa.
Yeah. He was sick of just horses.
A shark eats a helicopter in this. This movie fucking ruled.
Yeah, everything that you would want from Jaws is here. Everything we're like, wait,
so good.
Can I please have more scenes of them shooting barrels at a fin, please?
Oh my God,
wait,
yeah.
no, that doesn't happen because that's dumb storytelling.
Okay, so also, we were kind of bummed out for a minute because there's another fake out at the beach scene in this. Because we have to.
Good.
No, let me fucking get to the fucking thing.
Sorry, Andy.
What would Andy do?
Andy,
I'm hungry. It's okay, buddy.
Dude, we'll get you. It's fine. You'll
Don't
enjoy
worry.
your job. We'll hang out after your work.
Get the fucking rope. Get the fucking rope.
I swear to fucking
Get that fucking rope.
if you don't catch this rope,
I will kill you.
That's what Andy would do.
That's what Andy would do. No, so Brody realizes another shark out there. Once again, everyone, including the mayor, who looks looted out, is just like looks like a shadow of his former self.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh, and there's a subplot about a condominium developer trying to sell Amity to out of towners, whatever.
Yeah.
They even the movie kind of gives up on that at a certain point. Len or whatever.
Yeah, Len is an interesting character. Well, continue.
We'll
talk
get back
about
to
Len.
Len.
Yeah, we'll get back to Len.
But so basically Brody goes full tilt psycho, and there's this amazing wordless scene where we see him again. We didn't touch this in the Jaws episode, but there's a stupid thing where
Please stop pointing out what we didn't do.
I want to make sure people know exactly how unlike Andy we have been, so that when we achieve Andiness, they will see the scope of our accomplishment.
Peak Andy.
That's
a good shirt.
So the reason Dreyfuss goes into the stupid shark cage in the first movie is to shoot the shark with the cyanide poison, which we didn't even talk about because it was so stupid.
Yeah,
he just
sucks.
drops the fucking stinger thing. It's dumb.
It
in
sucks.
this movie, Brody's like, "There's a shark. I gotta go full psycho." And there's a scene of him making cyanide bullets that he seals with red wax, like
And
we're
it's-
suddenly watching a Jodorowsky
Yeah,
say it? Jodorowsky.
Jodorowsky?
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden it's this like ritual where he's like shooting blue cyanide poison into bullets and dripping red wax to seal them. And like Hendrix, his sort of adorably shitty deputy, just shows up. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Some insane directing.
Right. It's a really weird scene.
Like, I think the closest close-up in... I mean, I'm not going to do any research, but I'm going to say this is the closest close-up in any movie. The biggest match head I've ever seen on screen. The closest candle.
Right. And I believe in the trademark manner, it fades over like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Of every transition in this movie is a
Cool.
30-second phase.
I like his style. Like, it's
weird.
so different than Spielberg. And I like that he's like, you know what? We'll just give this to whatever. I don't even know this guy who made
this
Santa
European
Claus the movie.
pornographer, which definitely must be a porno, by the way.
Yeah, with a name like Jano Splark.
Right.
Spork?
I believe it's
Should I look it up? Nah.
Yeah, go crazy. No, okay, so you know, Brody's like full tilt psycho. He's making poison bullets to like shoot into a shark.
And the scene where Hendrix like comes in and is like he hastily covers up with a towel, and Hendrix is just like doesn't say anything, but basically like what the fuck's under that towel? And like there's shots from behind, like POV shots of the towel, basically, and Hendrix just like stares at it for 15 seconds.
Because you can they successfully convey that Brody is like absolutely behaving like a psycho.
And it's some daring filmmaking, I would have to say.
This is definitely a weirder, so much stranger than Jaws. Yeah. And Jaws has a lot of strangeness in it, but it's so scattershot.
It sucks.
And this leans into this stuff.
Every time I think about Jaws, I think that it's worse and worse. Like what it does well, but that's like 15% of the movie for me now.
Well, I think seeing a movie like this that flows so well comparatively underscores how Jaws is like not fun to watch.
Yeah.
But okay, so then it cuts to the beach, and Len and Brody's wife works for Len. They're like showing potential condo owners on the beach, and everyone's like, "Oh no, Brody's here! He's gonna fucking psycho out on us!"
It's so great.
And he's just standing up in the shark tower, and everyone's like, "Oh, please don't psycho out, Brody! Please,
just stay in your tower.
Just be normal.
You can't be normal, but just to be quiet.
Just go back to drinking." Like in the first movie, his wife was helpfully dispensing buckets of bourbon to him.
Go to bed, honey.
Yeah, drink your fucking pint of No, okay, so in this movie, Brody's looking out and he sees something dark in the water, goes full psycho. He's like, "Get the fuck out of the water!" Runs through a crowd of people, whips out his gun, and just starts unloading cyanide bullets into what turns out to be just a bunch of fish.
And hearing Josh explain that to you, you might think it's cooler. It's cooler than what Josh... I mean, you did a great job.
Thank you.
But like, I'm just saying that sounds amazing. It's even more amazing.
It's amazing because he's like... everyone's like... "You're psycho."
Yeah.
And his at this point, his tan, we talked about this, we noticed this. Roy looks full on like he lives in a tanning booth in this movie. He's just like leathery, sinewy, like he looks insane.
His mouth looks like an asshole.
Yeah, like a puckered asshole.
And in the same, like the stretch marks around his mouth hole, it looks like the sphincter of an ass.
Before the record, we went to a mirror and looked at our own assholes, and we're like, "Yep. Correct.
Looks just like it."
We did the research for you, the listener.
So when you watch this movie, you can do it
too.
too.
Asshole, yeah.
You can do this experiment at home. What you have to do:
take a picture of your asshole.
Go get a friend.
Send it to our email.
It's very.
We'll match it with photos of Roy Scheider from Jaws 2.
All right.
It's a service we provide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we hashtag Roy Scheider's mouth or asshole.
Right, exactly. It's a new game. We're going to love it. BuzzFeed has already emailed us about this. It's going to be huge. Is BuzzFeed still a website?
Yeah, I read an article.
It's nomentalfloss.com.
It's no mental... Wait, no, it's no mental floss.
Yeah.
I read an article on BuzzFeed today.
I'm very proud of you.
What was it? Couldn't tell you.
While I was sleeping?
I don't remember. I just remember going to BuzzFeed and being like, "Oh, that's still a website."
That's a website. Look at that.
But I don't remember what I read.
Yeah, well, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a good aside.
But it's still there. I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, thank you.
It's still there.
I can sleep easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You're making noises.
It's Andy of you to comfort me. Did I talk in my sleep last night?
Just
Really?
sort of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little slapping motions.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
like one of the teens. Oh, the cousin, the hot cousin in the movie does a lot of face shaking in the movie.
Hot cousin. Yeah.
She shakes her face.
There were two girls that were scared.
Well, there were a lot of girls who were scared. There's
That's
the
right, that
Jesus
was the
freak,
hawk.
the blonde Jesus freak who prays. There was a moment in this movie that is so strange.
So
Where the
transcendent.
kids are all like on their broken flotilla of
great
crappy ships, and they're like, "What are we gonna fucking do?" And then all of a sudden, this blonde lady just starts praying to Christ.
Can we paint it? So the scared cousin is screaming, being like, we're all gonna die. And then the son of the mayor goes, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. And then the other geek boy goes, you shut up, you shut up. And then every teenager's screaming, shut up. And then it just slowly pans over to this soft voice going, Jesus, Mary, please help us. And then there's just and they all pause and watch.
Then it cuts to a shot, and they're looking at the overturned boat,
Yeah.
where the little boy used to be trapped. It just floats in front of them, and that's the scene.
It's a very long take.
It's spellbinding. There's also an amazing moment. Speaking of frightened women intoning things softly, Tina, Miss Amity, who of course
was that Miss Amity?
Yeah, who our protagonist catcalled earlier in the film to the delight of his own wife.
Yeah.
The
And to
70s
himself.
were. He's like, this is pretty good
Well, no,
stuff.
she gave him a loving slap, going, "Come on, come on." He gave.
Well, I like that
little-
at that point in culture, like, what more of an affirmation of womanhood for a teen than for the police chief of your town to whistle at you in front of assembled dignitaries and his family.
and his family.
Right.
Yes.
Anyways,
With his boy literally on his lap.
It's a
his
beautiful
wife by his side.
Yeah. Yeah, and the kid, you can tell the kid knows his dad's hard as a rock.
Yeah, that's how you learn.
Right.
I learned so much sitting on my papa's lap.
Wow, that's
About
really
how to be a
beautiful.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But no, so her shitty date Eddie, who is just like another like the same looking beach guy. They all have the same brunette '70s teen kid,
Big hair. I gave you a haircut today.
You gave me a haircut today.
Yeah, you were looking a little bit Amity before,
and now I'm looking a lot less Amity.
Yeah.
I look a lot more like Detective Loki from Prisoners now.
Yeah.
Not all the way, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so he gets eaten by the shark, and Tina's like, please make him go away. It's so good. Please make him go away. And it's like really chilling.
Yeah, great scene. And he gets smashed into the boat.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful scene. I was a little disappointed because we never really got the big chomper scene until the very end. But up until that, I was like, oh, is this going to be the scene where the ship, the fish? The shark.
It's not a fish.
Shark.
Sharks
Where
aren't fish.
The shark jumps out of the water and eats a boy. I was hoping for that. Instead, you get a lot of the thrashing, but then he gets full speed shark slammed into the side of the boat, grabs on, is like, "Bleh, bleh," and then just gets pulled away.
It's so sick.
And then she goes,
Please make him go away. Please make him go away.
it's some incredible, it's good storytelling. This is what I want out of a movie.
Well, at the beginning of this, I was like, oh boy, we're doing Jaws 2 is going to be teen heavy. Is that a disastrous decision? And look, are all the teens gold? No. There's a weird subplot of like this like shitty geek who's like, no one wants to boat with me. I'm a shitty geek.
Yeah,
and then
he
like,
described me.
oh, sorry. Yeah, it's basically
It
him.
sucked. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm thin. What did he say?
I'm thin. I have glasses. I live in Amity Island my whole life.
And
no one wants to go on a boat with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, Charles, 3 out of 4 for you, you fucking loser.
Go move to Amity so you can fulfill your life.
Hey, no, we still have girlfriends. Just an update from the last
Yep.
record. We still have girlfriends.
Still,
so
a few hours later, we still got him.
we're a bit more Eddie than glasses guy who I don't think got a name.
Yeah. Though Eddie dies horribly.
Yeah,
So,
really, really terribly.
yeah,
Eddie's
really-
death sucked.
I think, would you prefer to be?
I remember when Tina's like, my little butt's all black and blue. My mom's noticing.
It's so crazy.
She's like, get a blanket out. My ass is bruised from
yeah.
fucking on a boat.
Yeah.
Yuck. Also,
Or maybe-
don't fuck on a boat. You're going to get some kind of horrible...
Perhaps Eddie has like sharp hip bones. It's just some wild. Yeah. Do you know?
Yeah, well, you've made that image very clear now.
Yeah.
so thank you.
I know.
Yes.
I mean, but it's Janot's fault.
I'm sure he shot that scene, and they're like, no, what is this? We didn't ask. This is not in the script.
But I am Belge. This is just what we do.
Eh.
Do you know that you can watch 2 of Gaspar Noé's movies on Pornhub? Because that's like the only place where it seems fit to watch
What,
them.
like Climax and what?
No, it's
Love?
Sodomites and...
You could be making up no movies. I they all sound the same.
Sodomites is a 5-minute... I watched it. It's a 5-minute short film about a guy that sodomizes a woman.
I'm happy he doesn't stray too far from his comfort zone.
Yeah, and then the other one is the short film on which the his first something about being alone. His first feature film is like the one that he made before that's a little shorter is on Pornhub.
In
too.
deference to the way France behaved during the war in Iraq, I still don't support French art.
Just how they behaved then?
Yeah, they didn't support our democracy building then, and I don't think I'm going to support them now.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Plus, the Gauls really were very unbecoming towards the Roman emperors.
That's true. And it is. I agree with you, but it is a little hard to go out to eat in public because you still refer to them as freedom fries, and you gotta like go out of your way.
Oh, for sure. No, I will make a scene.
Yeah. Well, you'll be light about it. You're like, oh, excuse me, does this hamburger come with freedom fries? And then they go, what? You go, I think you heard me. I think you heard me.
And then, ironically, I do ultimately want a side salad, but I will
Right.
make a point of asking if they're freedom fries.
Yeah. It's sort of weird. I don't know, but I still go out with you.
I get off on it.
Yeah.
That's the long and short of it. I get off on it.
Because I'm your Andy.
Because you're my handy?
Wait, what was his name? Andy?
Andy.
Yeah, I said Andy.
Okay, I thought you were making a hand job reference. Like you're giving me a hand job during our meal.
Absolutely not.
You've never jacked me off during a meal.
No, and hearing you talk about freedom fries, it's repulsive. It desexualizes you.
Yeah.
But because I'm your Andy,
Right.
I stay with you.
You got to buoy me up like
Yeah.
Andy does.
Yeah.
Andy's fucking awesome.
He's the best. This movie should have been called Jaws 2 Andy.
Jaws 2, meet Andy.
What was his first line? Oh yeah, it was like a
they're at the
blind
punch
joke.
bowl. What Mike is like, I don't like blind dates. Like, it's pretty good. They got tin cups and little sticks.
And then someone's like, "You're off." And he's like, "Yeah, I know." And then just like
He's like,
drinks
did you make this punch? He's like, no. He's like, it sucks.
and then dumps it back in, even though he drank some.
And that's when we were like, oh, Andy's fucking daddy.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Andy is
Andy can step in my neck.
But the beautiful part is that he's a flavor packet for
Right.
the rest of the film. It's not like without Andy, this movie would have fallen apart. He's just a part of the scene.
It's like garam masala on like an appetizer platter, where it's like, I'm there for the pakoras and the samosas, but that dusting of garam masala transports the whole thing into a whole
Right.
other level.
But without it, it would still be
It'd be
a
passable. It'd be good.
No, it'd be a good meal.
Sure.
Good meal.
Yeah.
Jaws
Good meal.
2, good meal.
Yum yum. Yeah, Jaws 2, delicious. I loved it. I wanted more of it. They similarly sort of like have like the on land segment and the at sea segment.
Yeah.
But it just, again, the pacing of it doesn't make it feel like we're watching two separate chunks. It does really feel incorporated well together. I think we do learn more about this world. I love that the mayor survived whatever election between that disaster and this. Like, he's like still in office.
Yeah, and there's still the same like woman from the first one that was great.
Oh, the
At
really
the board
tanning.
meeting.
I don't know. I just don't know.
And
I'm sure.
she seems to have been elected to a higher post because she's now on the board of whatever.
Right, in the first movie, it's definitely the smoky backroom full of old men. And this one, there's at least a woman
Yeah.
on the council.
Good work, Amity.
So we're seeing
1978.
Amity change. Yeah, it's
right
really
before
big.
our
I'm hoping Jaws 3 really dives into just the municipal elections of Amity.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
I will say, as a local journalist, I'm a little shocked at what seems like anemic coverage of the genuinely horrifying things happening.
Well, that was one thing that I loved about Jaws that we didn't talk about was the POV as though we were watching a news report. Remember that when all the children in the background was waving at the camera and there was a newsman on screen?
When the guy, I was like, TV news is trash, and the guy's like, "Hey, on Amityville, it's a beautiful vacation town, but a dark shadow's been cast over by sharks."
That was good.
That's pretty good.
I can see why you have your job.
Yeah, I'm good at it. It's mostly that.
Can you imagine that that's how Spielberg thinks what makes good movie?
What, throwing a newsman in?
Yeah, but not even just like maybe like if you showed a shot of the TV, but like no, we are now as though the camera is the TV camera, the newsman. We are the newsman camera.
It's very
POV of
unnecessary.
newsman. It sucks.
Let me ask you this: this movie,
Spielberg sucks.
he doesn't suck. I
He
think
sucks.
he's very good at some things and has a lot of old ideas about other things.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this: this movie had a lot of shark POV. A lot of
a
shark
lot
POV.
of it. Yeah.
What did you think about that?
For me, it's the most. It was like some of the most boring parts of Jaws was that because I don't find the build up to be all that tense, and this one was fine, more of the same. Like I think what this one did well was have more characters that I thought could be eaten, and like I really liked that there were like Andy. When he was in the water, I was like, "Fuck, Andy, get the fuck out of the water!" And like when the nerd boy doing that weird British thing and then popped his boat, that was funny. Popped his boat. When he went in the water, I was like, yes, maybe we'll get to see a fucking awesome death scene. So it was like those, I think because we had better characters that could die or I wanted saved, I was a little more invested.
I thought in general, I felt like the shark had more personality in this. Maybe it was just the scar and like the burn. I liked the shark so much more than Jaws.
I think it's because it's just a better movie.
Yeah. Well, also, here's something we didn't even talk about. I love that, like, we were concerned at the end of our first episode in this miniseries, like, how do you progress a story about a shark? In this one, they're just like, there's another shark.
Yeah, they don't even talk about it.
Right. They don't belabor the point. There's just another shark. This is life on the coast. There's going to be sharks.
Yeah.
I love it.
I really liked the photography scene because I thought maybe they were going to be like, this is definitely a shark. Look, I got this picture of a shark. It's like the shittiest picture of an eye and some shit. And then he like brings it. He's like, I got proof. And they're like, what the fuck is this? And, it's like a really
and then they
great
fire
scene.
him. Like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's a big plot development. And here's what I like. We don't get that. There's no epilogue where they rehire Brody. We don't know what's going to happen in Jaws 3. I'm genuinely on the edge of my seat.
Such a better ending.
Yeah. Oh, so much
He
better.
saves his son and it's like...
And he's not mad at his son. His son's like, they made me come out on the shark adventure. And he's like, you little dumb fuck.
Little liar.
Don't fucking lie to me, you piece of shit. I love you.
But it's a good ending. Like, you don't have this like happy Spielberg bullshit where it's just like, oh, it's over and now we're happy again. It's like you still get this sense that there's problems and they're scared and traumatized.
Well, it was still kind of cute, but it was like a cute that worked for me. So maybe that's what I'm going to just take out of this.
Yeah. If you're going to be cute,
it has to land. It can't feel treacly and stupid. And like him wisecracking with old Richie Rich was like fucking lame.
Yeah,
giving Richard Dreyfuss the last line of Jaws is a fucking crime.
Yeah. And I wanted to bring this up last time. I say Dreyfuss, and you say Dreyfuss.
Let's just say you're right. I don't care.
Oh no,
I think it's me being lazy with my pronunciation.
Dreyfuss.
I think like Andy, I'm just taking it as it comes. You know. Okay, let me counterpoint to this.
Okay.
The movie should have ended with Andy saying, "Let's all get some hamburgers." I really think that's how they should end the movie.
Yeah, that would be good.
Andy being like, "Guys, time for some goddamn hamburgers."
Guys, yeah, give me some hamburgers.
Yeah.
Who wants a round of hamburgers on me?
Round of hamburgers and old Andy.
And then there's just a cut to him covered with hamburgers.
I would love that. Yeah, just like fucking ketchup, mustard, relish.
Guys, hamburgers on me. Hard cut.
Eating hamburgers.
Yeah,
Andy is
and
eating hamburgers.
They're all on his body eating them. Yeah.
Right.
That'd be good.
Sure. I would have loved that. I'm a little concerned we're not going to get Andy or an Andy-like figure in Jaws 3, and I'm worried.
Before we move on to Jaws 3, I do want to just talk about Roy just a little bit.
Okay, get into it.
Because he was the main, like the only thing I had, basically. Him and whatever his name is.
I truly do not know what you're referring to.
The drunken old...
Robert Shaw.
Yeah, Robert Shaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like really the only parts of the movie that made sense, that worked, and it was really well done. And I was like, I hope to get more of his problems with his drinking, with his family. And the first half hour, like he doesn't drink. There's a comment about him smoking again, like 3 cigarettes, but he's like, I'm just drinking with my coffee. But that's cool. I think that's a nice little setup, being like he's trying to get better, and this is his new addiction. But then as soon as he gets fired, he's drunk and he pours himself a pint of whiskey. And then the last line about where that beautiful fade out is, he's like, I'm just so tired. I'm just so tired. And she's just like, you're just so drunk. You're just so drunk. And it's great. He's back.
Well, is it Lorraine Gray who plays his wife?
Yeah, I think so.
Man, the most hard suffering woman in Amity.
Yeah.
Other than the women who are eaten by sharks or set on fire.
I don't even know. Being married to that guy?
Yeah.
What's his actual name?
Martin Brody is it the character's name? Yeah.
Martin Brody.
Well, I like how she has this job working for Len, the condo guy, the sort of like antagonist that wasn't character. She like has more of an identity in this movie. She's doing her own thing. At one point, he's like, "Don't quit your job. We need the income. I've been fired for being a fucking psycho."
Yeah, and the opening scene where Len's like, "Man, she's an amazing woman. Don't know what I'd do without her," and he's just like, "Yeah, me too." But like,
yeah, sure, buddy.
He says it in such a way where he's like, I fucked that up.
Well, maybe it's like it just occurred to him, like, yeah, I mean, honestly, my life is shit.
Yeah, and like the fact that she has a job and like has a boss that he sort of turns into be a bad guy-ish, but kind of not really.
Well, it's kind of like the nerd who no one wants to sail with. It's just like a storyline that doesn't really get returned to, where it's like the condo developer. And you're like, oh, that could be a whole thing.
It was something at the end when she like confronts him about being sort of a bad person. Right?
Oh, he's like, I had the best interest of the town at heart. She's like, I don't give a damn. My boy and my son are out there.
That's right. But like, that's normal conflict.
Yeah.
It's not like you're a bad person. You're the evil person in this
You're
movie.
trying to change Amity by selling it out to like they don't even touch that.
And it's not like, I wish I didn't work for you. I wish I was just a wife. It sort of gets there because she cares about her family, but like so there's that like family sort of die-hardy where there's like job versus family for the woman character.
Yeah.
But, it was 1975.
Yeah, it was a different time.
Yeah.
And this movie, but it does feel like weirdly more progressive in some ways than Jaws.
She's
at
still
the same
an
time.
incredibly interesting character. I think she gets a little more to do,
Right.
but still about the same. I don't know. She's still good. I think it's a good that she's still there. I think the family stuff was perfect.
Right. I think that like they also could have like leaned in a lot more heavily on the family conflict. And I like it in Jaws too. Like he like kind of like he's like, Mike, go fucking do this thing. Just do it, okay?
Yeah.
And then they don't like overplay like I'm sick of you, Dad. I'm trying to be my own man. Like they don't play into that. I think it'd be convenient and lazy to make that be the narrative about their relationship, and they don't really do that, which is nice.
And the most touching scene in the movie is when Sean helps his dad pick up cyanide bullet casings off the beach.
Yeah, how fucked up was that? That was so sick.
That was great.
Where like again, Brody's like unloaded a clip of fucking cyanide bullets into a bunch of fish, and there's like great acting there where like he's like, yeah, everything's fine, false alarm, and everyone's
go
like,
back in the
you're
ocean.
nuts, get it back in. Everyone's like, dude, you just like unloaded a bunch, you're nuts.
We're getting away from you.
And everyone's like, you're fucked up, but his son's like, I'll help, pop.
But silently,
I'll
without
silently
saying,
help, pop.
I'll help, pop.
Right.
He just starts picking up bullet casings off the beach, and then Roy Scheider is a genius actor. He like has this loving look, but also this just like, I'm so fucked up. Like my son is helping me pick up bullets off of a public beach, and he just looks devastated and relieved and sad all at the same time. He's really good.
Yeah, again, this is a real tour de force for Roy over these movies. He's really great in these.
Yeah.
And these movies do not require him to do that. He's doing something so much more than what's on the page.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of cool. Is like this is like the first big blockbuster, and we still have the main star. Like not like I feel like some actors would just be like, oh, here's the paycheck. We're making this dumb sequel. I don't have to do very much. But no, he's like back in as Brody.
Well, I think about like Chris Pratt in the Jurassic Park reboots, who's just like fucking awful in Jurassic World. I didn't see Jurassic World 2 or whatever.
I did.
How was it?
Bad.
Okay, I believe it.
It's bad. Not as bad as. I don't think it was as bad as the first one.
Well, in the first one, when they're like, "Oh no, it's my ex-girlfriend who I used to date," and it's like, "Oh Jesus Christ!" Like, Mamma Mia.
Yeah, it's such. Shit.
So let me ask you: at this point, are you asking when will it end?
No, I'm still. I mean, I'm a little worried. Now I'm getting worried because Roy's out. There's like no one left. This is a totally new movie, and it's just basically, I think, for the money. The director is now like 2 layers deep of just like assistants who worked on the Jaws movies. He's only directed Jaws 3, and that was it.
Well, hold on, let me counterpoint this. I want to just, this may be insane what I'm about to say. Jaws 2 literally had almost no new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we to say that they can't do that again for Jaws 3? It's not like they reinvented the wheel in any capacity for this movie. It's literally more of the things we like, but told in a smoother way. That's a bit more clever. Like, honestly, you made a really good point earlier. There are more bodies at play in the ocean, which makes... The thing about Jaws 1 is that all the ocean sequence... There's just the one boat and the 3 guys. So if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen right now in front of us to these guys.
Yeah.
In this one, there's a lot of things at play, and it's all over the place. And I think it gives a lot more of like a dynamic quality that the first one did not have towards the end.
Right.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is, Jaws 3, maybe they go bigger. And maybe it's, I'm going to just go out on a limb here. Maybe it's the best one yet.
Yeah. Do you think there's going to be more? So like this thing, like we've never seen these movies. We're trying to think of like, what would you do if you were given the franchise? You worked as the assistant director on Jaws 2. You're like, what could I do that's bigger? Do you think it's going to be 2 sharks?
That's a great question.
3
I would
sharks.
love more sharks.
More sharks. I think that's the answer.
It's got to be the answer.
And I don't think it's going to work, maybe, but I think that's because like we've had the menacing shark, we've had the burned menacing shark. There's not really going to be a way to make
further
a new
distinguished
third single menacing shark.
Well, it could be like, in Day of the Dead or Land of the Dead where there's like a boss zombie.
Right,
We have a boss shark.
Yeah, so you're thinking one big shark and like thousands of little sharks.
Or maybe not thousands, but maybe it could be like a shark leader of some sort.
Yeah. Did you see the Meg?
I did not see the Meg. No.
Okay.
Again, I want to reiterate, I don't like sharks.
Yeah, that's true.
And these movies are essentially so silly and not that. I think, like in the first movie, the scariest part of Jaws 2 is when a human corpse pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
When the burned corpse pops up out of the ocean.
I think the problem with the Meg was, well, there was lots of problems with the Meg, but one is that when the shark is that big, it becomes so ridiculous that it's no longer scary. Because, like, my big fear, actually, I guess big giant things in the ocean is scary. But, like...
It's the scariest.
The big fear is that a believable scary thing in the ocean is already terrifying. You don't need to make a giant, like, alien-sized creature for me to be terrified. Just a shark is terrifying to me. We're both scared.
This is full cowardly. Like, we're full cowards, for sure.
Here's the thing. There's no oxygen that I can breathe down there.
That's a big thing about water.
Yeah, we can establish that.
No oxygen that is breathable in the
yes.
water. But you can't breathe it.
You can't breathe it. You can drink
Trust
it.
me, I've tried.
Yeah. What happened?
Bad.
Lungs.
Yeah.
Water lungs.
I coughed.
That's why you were called water lungs for all those years?
Oh, water lungs, they
Jesus.
called me. Because I had water in my lungs.
Yeah. That's gross. And then, 2, there's creatures that have evolved for millions of years to survive, where I have evolved to die in the water without the help of those evolved creatures. So basically, I remember...
Are you describing nature right now?
Yeah, I'm describing
Okay,
nature.
yeah.
Oh,
Nature
we have
is
to talk
scary.
about jaw science.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm already terrified because I would die without the creatures, and there are creatures that are graceful. That is their world. And it sucks, and it's scary.
Right, they're pirouetting through the depths while I'm like flailing and screaming and wishing I was dead.
So the premise is already frightening. I'm already scared to, like, when I go in a lake, I'm still scared of those snappers.
Okay, in this movie, there was a cool thing that I liked where at one point a guy just sees a shark and he's so fucking scared, he just gets the bends from fleeing the shark. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's how fucked up the goddamn ocean is.
Yeah.
You can just get the bends, and that in and of itself is fucked up.
We were like, why is he bleeding? And you're like, he probably just was so terrified he got a nosebleed because he's swimming so fast up.
And
I was like, Jesus, that sucks.
old science Dr. Josh called it correct.
All right, we got to talk about jaw
Okay,
science.
So we were talking about in the first
belabor
movie,
it.
right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of claims made about sharks in this movie, and to set up the Deus Ex Machina for this movie, there's maybe the most beautiful application of jaw science yet. I think I loved that.
Me
choice.
too.
Yeah.
It was really quick. But the scene with the bad actor on the beach where she's explaining, like, when he's talking to the woman who's autopsying
They
the
get
dead...
Hooper light. They get like
Yeah.
a one scene Hooper who's like, I'm a scientist, lady, and here's what I know about sharks.
She's a really bad actor.
It's just yeah. You really didn't like her.
I didn't.
I didn't give a shit.
It was in the point of the movie where I wasn't sure if I liked the movie yet, so I was just like clinging to things that were making me feel like I wasn't in it. She was one of the worst.
But yeah, so she makes some claims about sharks, namely like human swimming looks like distressed fish or whatever.
And doesn't he be? He's all knowledgeable too. He's like, don't sharks go after blood? It's like they're just having this like science talk, and it's really great.
They're reminding us about sharks, which
Yeah.
is a weird thing to do in Jaws 2. I think
really
we
funny.
don't need to know that much about sharks. You
Yeah.
know? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if keen-eared listeners will remember in our conversation about Jaws, I said it's fucking stupid. They literally described what compressed air canisters do. We don't need that. In this movie, without talking...
Wait, no, tell us what keen-ear listeners would remember what you said.
I said a simple insert shot of gas or compressed air
Danger, explosive.
or danger, right?
Yeah.
That would tell us everything without Richard Dreyfuss literally saying, "Don't touch that; it might explode."
Yeah.
You know. So in this
But
movie,
except he went, Jesus Christ, that's an air canister.
once again, your arms are not pinwheeling and you're not flailing your legs around while you do
well,
it.
I'm
Seems like,
comfortable.
I think you look
I
very
didn't take the
comfortable.
mic. I took the mic away.
Sounds of the microphone.
Yeah.
No. So, in
Anyway,
this
yeah.
movie, early on, they're trawling for corpses, which is a common practice for the Amity police.
How long do I have to be out here?
Yeah, friggin' useless Hendrix and his manservant.
So good.
It's like
He's like, I don't want to be a police officer. Why can't I just go home? He's like, stay out there on the boat till you find something.
you fucking idiot. Jeff, we learned his first name. It's Jeff, which is a great name
you
for him.
love Jeff.
Jeff's the best worst name. And Hendrix has like his weird manservant guy.
Yeah, the old man in the sea who
He's, like,
I thought
barking
he
at
was
him.
like wasn't allowed to speak, but he says a couple things.
He's Hendrix's gimp. But no, so they pull up the power line that connects the island to electricity, and you of course called it. You said that's for sure he's going to show up later. And so when they're out around the cable reef where the Jaws is menacing the teens, the nubile wet teens,
All right, calm down, Jano.
Old Brody shows up and he realizes he in turn catches the power cable and he's like, wait, Jaws science.
Yeah, and he turns around and he sees the sign.
He sees the sign, danger, high voltage.
Yeah.
And we're like, great, we just took care of it. Done.
The scene where they're trawling was weird. They're like,
yes,
wait, that's the power line. We don't want to cause a blackout. And then Hendrix says, oh boy, let's get out of here before we really find something.
You know, if it wasn't such a delightfully weird scene, I would say cut it. But I just kind of like Hendrix's weird side adventures. Like, what a great... If 3 was just about Hendrix, I'd be like, fucking fine.
Ooh, that could be good.
3, give me more Andy. But number 2, I take Hendrix.
Wait, so the next one is 82 or 3?
I don't know. It's a jump for sure.
It's years later. We could have adult Andy.
Okay, that's true. Okay, but put a pin in there.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
the Jaws science that Brody employs is with a paddle, he just starts hitting the power cable, and we get like the sound of it echoing out underwater. And we remember earlier when Lady Hooper was like, they got the what is it, the radar
sonar.
Or
yeah,
whatever.
They love sounds. Sharks love sounds. They like sonar. They like radar.
And he convinces the shark to charge him holding the cable, and the shark grabs the cable and bursts into fucking flame. It's sick.
But the part he's like, come on, get me, take a bite out of me, take a bite, come on. It's really great shit.
It's awesome.
I was hoping he would die because last
too.
time you were hoping he would die, and I was like, no, that would be a bad movie. But I think that would have been good if he'd actually gone out in this one.
Well, let me say this: if the test of a sequel is can we handle more of the elements of the first movie we liked, I loved the more Roy. I'm sad we're losing Roy for 3.
Yeah. So I'm just looking up real quick. Jaws 3D comes out in 1983. So a solid 5 years pass.
Mamma mia.
So that's definitely time for some adult Andy.
Yeah.
Adult kids. This could have, I don't know. This could be, I don't know
Children
anything.
of Brody.
I know nothing about Jaws 3 except that it's the third one, and that's it. So
Well, I think it's Jaws 3D, right?
yeah, you're right. It is Jaws 3D.
So we're not going to get really the
That's too
full
bad.
gripping experience on the futon you live on.
That'd be really fun to watch it that way. See
Yeah.
it for how Joe Alves really wanted us to see it.
The Alves Vision.
Alva Vision.
Alva Vision, yes.
Is that 3D?
I believe so.
Alva Vision.
He's like, what if the shark wasn't 3D? I said, here's $1 million.
You know what's fun is watching old 3D movies in 2D, because then you can see like the shot that they really were putting in there to look 3D, like shark coming right at us.
Well, hold on. I've seen House of Wax in 3D, and it looked amazing.
Yeah, I saw My Bloody Valentine in 3D. Great shit.
Yes, like iconic golden era Hollywood classic, My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, House of Wax? What's that?
The Vincent Price movie from the
Oh,
50s.
I thought you were talking about...
The one with Paris Hilton in it.
I don't know.
It's actually not that bad.
Wait, Paris Hilton and Vincent Price?
Paris Hilton's in the remake of House of Wax.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I was thinking about.
Right, now I'm thinking the OG.
What year did that come out?
Long old time ago.
70s?
Before the 70s.
60s?
Maybe.
Wait, what about Alvavision? I thought he invented 3D.
Well, no, he was like, what if Shark in 3D? And he
Shark
said, what
3D.
if Shark in 3D?
So that's Alvavision.
Yeah, Alphavision. Sharks in 3D.
Sharks in 3D. That's big now.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be big, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah, good stuff there.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Jaws 3D, I'm trying to be optimistic here. In my mind, it's like Jaws 2 is not like a special movie. It's just easier to watch. It has more weird grit and texture than Jaws. That I think works towards its overall effect.
Yes.
I think Jaws really got to pick out the parts that work. Jaws 3D, I got no fucking clue. They didn't even leave Amity for 2.
Wait, what?
They didn't even leave Amity.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I kind of thought we'd get like a new thing, but no,
Right.
it's just another one in Amity. Which
So
is
you think
so
they're
funny.
going to move to somewhere else?
They gotta. I mean, come
They
on.
gotta. They're done. There's no new returning characters, I think.
But it kind of bums me out. I've enjoyed my time in Amity.
Well, maybe like a Sean or a Mike is 5 years later. So Sean's college age. Maybe he goes to college somewhere else, and he like works as an aquarium boy.
Could be an aquarium boy, and
Maybe
the
it's
shark infiltrates the aquarium,
That'd be fun.
blows it up from the inside.
What I did like was getting the explosion out of the way real early in this one.
Yes,
Like this obnoxious
mushroom cloud,
Yeah.
massive explosion of when the shark attacks the jet ski boat, and the lady douses herself in gasoline.
Yeah.
It goes ba-doom.
I sort of like how ridiculous that was because it called attention to how ridiculous the ending of the first one is.
Yeah. Oh, the
And it's
parallel
like,
was not lost on me.
Let's
yeah.
just get this out of the way. You want to see an exploding shit? Here it is. And then the ending was much more normal. except for the fact that a giant shark electrocutes itself.
And catches on fire and steam hisses out of its eyes.
Yeah, they were all just covered in shark smoke.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I bet it smelled like dog shit.
Well, it could have smelled good to Andy.
Yum, yum, yum. He was
Hey,
hungry.
where's that barbecue? Andy. Andy always
was
waited
the
for that
king
barbecue.
of Amity. He's the fucking lord of the beach. He's the summer god.
That's a good shirt. We're trying to figure out what we should make for shirts.
It's got to be Andy.
Andy's king of
We got to do
king
a
of
deep dive
summer.
on Andy's. To pull him up on IMDb. I got to know about this guy.
I like that I'm now, because this is my house.
Right.
I'm now the phone guy.
You're in charge of phones. Also, I'm charging my phone. I drained it last night listening to the sound of soft rain patter in my earbuds. So Andy's like a heavy-set fellow with curly blonde hair.
His name is Gary Springer.
That's a great name for Andy.
Yeah. He was in Dog Day Afternoon. He wasn't in very much. His career did not last. So Dog Day Afternoon was 75.
This was 78.
Yep.
So,
He was
Gary,
in,
we want you on the podcast.
He was in Between the Lines.
If you're listening, Gary, if you know Gary,
Is Gary still alive?
I pray to fucking God.
He was in Hometown USA. So he had like a nice little stint as a young adult actor in the 70s. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he didn't make it. That's too bad. He really is our shining light.
He really pops in this movie.
Yeah. And I don't know if everyone would feel that way, but for us, he was our swaddle.
Our swaddle?
Yeah, I felt comforted. I felt contained.
You feel like he swaddled us?
Yeah, in like a bro-ish sort of way, but yeah, I felt like
he's
he
like
was
a bro dog. I want to hang with Andy.
like he was giving me a
I
hug
want
the
to
whole
eat that
time.
gluey ass pizza at that shitty bar.
Yeah, I don't because I'm vegan, but
Ugh,
maybe there's
my
a
God.
vegan version.
I don't think Andy's vegan.
Shitty vegan? No one was vegan back then. except
No,
for the
it was illegal.
hippies. Yeah. Yeah.
It'd shoot you on sight. Pow, pow. Pew. Okay, so I guess like with that being said, we're getting to the end of the episode.
With that being said about shooting vegans,
Yeah, we should shoot more vegans. I
Yeah.
agree. I mean, honestly, if you friggin' want us to not eat animals as much, let us eat you.
wait, it's the other way around.
No. The answer to this is that we need to eat you.
No, we're better than you, so we should be eating you.
No. If you want to save more animals, I got to eat more vegans.
No.
Save a cow, eat a vegan.
If vegans
you
eat
would
you,
make, I guess, like a meal.
it'd be such a waste.
I don't know, maybe two.
Do you know if I have
I can
a
make
son,
sandwiches
I
with
can give him my skin when I die, and they have like surgeries now where they can like transplant my skin onto my son.
And to what effect would that be?
Well, I could
Giving
pass
your...
down all my tattoos.
Oh,
and I could
yeah.
have a generational pass down of.
You know your son's not going to think you're cool. He's going to think your tattoos suck. Yeah. He's going to be a real Mike and or not a Sean at all.
Yeah,
He's going to be a Mike.
Sean's a little daddy boy.
Honestly, Mike is kind of like a pretty spineless. Like
Yeah, at the end.
he like sort of like stands up for himself. He's like, I got hit, but I'm okay.
I did like that. I like that he was
I'm
like,
Mike.
I'm grounded. I'm just gonna work. And then the normal looking cousin's like, do you do everything your papa says? And he's like, I'll get back to you.
Kinda.
I'll get back to you on that one. And then he breaks the rules, but I thought it was at 8 p.m.
I love
Like
that. Yeah,
for
you
a
were so
night-
thrown off by
a
this. No,
night
it's a
of fun.
morning. But I like that we now know that like all the events of the last third of the movie take place in one day. I like that a lot.
Can you imagine being that much of like all right, I'll break the rules, but it's going to be at 8 a.m.
To go sailing.
To go sailing.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck.
I can't get over the fact that like the beguiling siren of the movie is truly one of the most boring looking people ever. Like the
great.
cousin. It's so funny.
It's good.
Ugh. All right, so for Jaws 3, we're hoping for hotter cousins, more Andy,
No,
more
yeah.
sharks.
Wait, can I just, which of the kids, obviously, let's get Andy out of the picture.
But a fond farewell. I miss you, man.
No, but I'm saying just before we go, I'm curious, which of the kids was your least, like, the one you were hoping that would die?
Oh,
And
definitely
which was the one that you were, would be traumatized, like, oh, fuck, if they did die.
the Roofle nerd for sure. He was like, no one wants to sail with me.
Yeah,
Who gives a fuck, man? No one cares. You're not interested.
He's a soft boy.
Right, definite soft boy.
Yeah, he sucked. Definitely. I also didn't really like the pretend British guy.
Well, the other geek. Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
I
Right.
know it sucks to say because I am a bit of a nerd geek,
yeah, kind of.
but they sucked. Those nerd geeks were really bad.
They weren't that sympathetic. I hope they were just dogging on Spielberg.
And I think it was interesting that, like, usually it's the bros that are like treat women or in this case girls like shit, and it's always the geeks that are like, oh man, we're so much nicer. Here's like the like normal looking bro-ish ones were the one like the mayor's son turned out to be like a really nice guy.
Right, they could have played into that really lazy archetype, and they didn't. I
Yeah.
feel like when someone says she got tits like a sparrow, the other guy's like, "Don't talk like that."
Yeah, and he's like, "Who are you, mom? Go fucking get the jib."
Ever heard of the
Whatever that
fucking
means.
male gaze, you motherfucker?
Yeah. So it was
Tune your
sort of
shit
cool
up.
that like the kids were like I think we started this episode talking about sort of the weird sexuality of a teenage movie. Ultimately, I think this movie really works because it's like doesn't sexualize the kids. It really just shows them wanting to be just be kids, and they like falling in love, they like making out, but ultimately they care about each other. There's a lot of men hugging each other and protecting each other, but not in
Yeah.
a sexual way. It's like I really believed all these kids, and I liked being a part of their harrowing adventure.
They could have been the biggest liability in the movie,
Yes.
and they actually carried the movie through.
Yeah, the
and
adults-
were a perfect foil.
I was thinking about that. The adults were the ones that were sort of like shitty actors and not interesting characters.
Yeah.
So I like that. I would be fine with if I'd seen this as a teenager, like a 12, 13, 14-year-old boy, I think it would have made me a better person than I am today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you heard it here. Parents, show your children Jaws 2.
Actually rated PG.
Actually rated PG and much more appropriate.
Right.
It's still upsetting, but nowhere
really.
near as fucked up as Jaws.
Yeah, there's no blood tornadoes. There's no dismemberment.
But do I wish there were?
Maybe.
A little.
Yeah.
All right, Jaws 3. We'll see exactly how much blood tornado action we get. Stay tuned to when will it end. We're still in Boston, maybe.
Yeah. No shocks here.
The Park the car, the Harvard yard.